Hey everybody, here we go again. This is worksheet number 2. This time you have to actually evaluate the expressions. And again, I'm going to do the odd numbers for you. So let's look at, oops, wrong button, sorry. Let's look at number 1. Okay, this time we need to find log 4 of 164. So we're looking for 4 to the what equals 1 over 64. Now, remember, a negative exponent turns your base into a fraction if it wasn't already. So we know our exponent's going to be negative this time. I'm going to start by adding equals x just because that helps me. I'm going to circle the 4, go around this way. 4 to the x equals 1 over 64. Well, I know 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So I know that 1 over 64 equals 4 to the negative 3. Remember, negative exponent means take the reciprocal and make it positive. So it'll be 1 over 4 to the third, which is 1 over 64. That's why we can rewrite this as 4 to the negative 3. In this case, x equals negative 3. Okay, I know those are a little harder. Let's do number 3. Well, this is a nice, easy one. Okay, 5 to what power is 125? Oops, get it to work. 5 to what power is 125? If you need to, go ahead and write your equals x, circle your base, draw your swirly. 5 to what power equals 125? Well, 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125. So 5 to the third is 125. So x equals 3. Number 5. 2 to what power is 8? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third equals 8. So your answer here is going to be 3. 2 to the third power equals 8. I skipped some steps there. Hopefully you can figure out how to do those on your own by now. This is a tricky one. Now notice our log 8 of 2. We start with a big number and we end up with a smaller number. That means we're actually dividing instead of multiplying. So we know that our exponent is going to be a fraction. 8 to the x equals 2. Okay, so 8 divided by 2 is 4. Divided by 2 is 2. So 8 to the 1/3 equals 2. Remember, 8 to the 1/3 is the same thing as the cube root of 8. The cube root of 8 is 2 because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. When your number right here is smaller than your number here, you know your answer is going to be a fraction. Our answer right now is going to be 1/3. Okay, so this time we know it's going to be a negative exponent because 5 raised to a power equals a fraction. So we know we've got to have a negative exponent. So first think to yourself, 5 to what power is 25? Well, 5 times 5 is 25, so 5 to the second is 25. If 5 to the second equals 25, 5 to the negative 2 equals 1 over 25. Remember, you take 1 over 5 to the positive 2. That's the same thing. So your answer here is going to be negative 2. Okay, number 11. 32 raised to what power is 2? Okay, it's getting smaller, so we know it's going to be a fraction. So let's do it the other way this time. Let's think 2 to what power is 32? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. 2 to the fifth is 32. Okay, that's not our answer, but that's going to be helpful. Let's do the whole swirly thing this time. 32 to what power equals 2? Well, if 2 to the fifth is 32, 32 to the 1/5 equals 2. So our answer here is going to be 1/5. Okay, this should be an easy one. 4 to what power is 64? Well, 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, so 4 to the third is 64. Easy. 3 to what, 2 to what power is 1/8? Okay, we've got a fraction, so we know we're going to end up with a negative exponent. Let's first figure out 2 to what power is 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So we know that 2 to the third equals 8. So 2 to what power is 1/8? 2 to the negative third. So our answer is negative 3. Okay. Hope I'm right. Yeah. Number 17, 4 to what power is 16? 4 times 4 is 16. 4 to the second is 16, so it's 2. And last one. This time we're getting smaller. 125 to what power is 5? So we know it's going to be a fraction. We're taking a root of 125. What root of 125 equals 5? Well, the cube root of 125 equals 5. So our answer is 1/3. 125 to the 1/3 equals 5. 125 to the 1/3 equals 5. If we were going to do the whole swirly thing, we would do it like this. Write your x. Oops, that doesn't work. Write your x. Circle 125 to the x equals 5. Well, we know that 125 to the 1/3, the cube root of 125 equals 5. So x equals 1/3. Okay, do your best on these. Send me your answers. Have a great week. Talk to you later.